Welcome back to the Own It Show. I am Heather Lee Chapman, your host and coach, and we are here to inspire, educate, and serve. And today we're talking about prioritizing your well-being for optimal performance with Megan Swan. She's the founder and CEO of Megan Swan Wellness and Altavita Health, helping women building the future. And we have incredible tips to help you own your health and wellness to be that high performer that you know you are without sacrificing your health and your sanity. And so I'm super excited to have Megan on the show today. So thank you so much for being on the show. Tell us more about you.
Thanks, Heather. It's an honor. Thank you so much for having me. As you mentioned, my name is Megan. I'm a coach and strategist, founder and CEO of Megan Swan Wellness and Altavita Medical Wellness Tourism. I support entrepreneurs, leaders, and founders with their wellness strategy to help them make prioritizing their well-being an easy, non-negotiable that ensures their most valuable asset, i.e., themselves, is prime and in working order all the time. And I'm all about sustainable energy, confidence, and impact for women building the future, as you mentioned. Women that are really leading the change, the charge of the change. As you know, women tend to be more in that category. And I do this through private coaching, consulting, speaking, and creating personalized medical wellness travel experiences.
That's incredible. It's so unique. I can't wait for you to tell us more about that.
Yeah, so our combined mission is to really revolutionize female entrepreneurship by delivering holistic and wellness-centered support that empowers women founders building thriving companies while preserving their well-being. So we're really about proactive and preventative strategies and not, leaning away from reactive problem solving in the moment. So what are the things that are in your control that you have power and agency to shift in this moment in time? When we're talking about entrepreneurship, you really want to be in peak performance, energy, confidence, your concentration, your focus. All these things are so essential to be able to have the impact and scale your business in the way you want over time. So it's all about sustainability. And yeah, so I mean, my bigger vision is really to support women-led businesses that are shattering outdated systems and redefining success, and all driving an unstoppable triple bottom line. So, they're working for a profit for sure, but they're incorporating and aware of their impact on planet and people at the same time. And I truly believe that shifting more capital into the hands of women will reshape power dynamics and build a better future for us all, where wealth, well-being, and opportunity are shared more equally.
And we know when more women have more power and more money, we do more good in the world, especially those conscious entrepreneurs who are shattering the glass ceilings. So, thank you for doing what you do and creating a space for women to thrive and help other women thrive. This is incredible. And I love that you have such a unique retreat experience where it's a custom, holistic medical approach to help people truly become that optimal self, to get access to tools, resources, knowledge that they wouldn't normally be able to hear, or they'd have to see multiple practitioners. And this is just all done, your one stop shop, basically, right?
Yeah, at Altavita, we really are passionate about this intersection of advanced medical diagnostic testing. Again, we're trying to be proactive and have a better plan for prevention versus like reacting to whatever you're currently going through. And holistic lifestyle coaching is essential to really creating those habits and flow of what you can do to improve your health, not your health span, not just your lifespan, your trajectory against, all chronic disease, really. And we also believe deeply in the healing power of travel in itself, like getting outside of your day to day, having an experience, whether that's, the culture, the food, the environment. It can be a really powerful reset opportunity and gives you a new perspective on, what you want to prioritize moving forward.
I actually haven't been to Mexico yet. I have done traveling and I have not been to Mexico yet. It will be soon because I know that there's so many sacred like energy spots there as well. And yes, yeah, I know that's why a lot of people do retreats there. It's
Yeah,
fun.
and we're highlighting and hosting them initially in Chiapas, which is a hidden gem. It's not as well, it's not as touristy, but like you said, it's full of just this magic energy. It's, sort of the heart of the Mayan culture, and just absolutely beautiful waterfalls and jungle, and the coffee, the cacao. It all just makes for a magical experience.
Oh my
So
God,
we're waiting to host you.
yeah, I love it. It does sound magical. I can't wait. Well, tell us a little bit about your story. Like, what had you start this?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of stories, but I'll do the shortest version that really gets to the heart of why I'm so passionate about the proactive and really being intentional about how you're living your life. Before I didn't prioritize my well-being as a sleep-deprived mom, just feeling like I was surviving my days. And then I realized I wasn't able to show up as the mother I knew I could be. And I can, go down some rabbit holes in terms of how I was not showing up as an ideal mother, but I knew I could do better and really aspired to do that. And so ultimately, the first step was to get support to build healthier habits into my life, little by little. And I think this is so important too, is it being titrated, and these micro shifts are more powerful than we think they can be over time. And that led to me personally starting to train as a health coach. And then, I now have 8 different certifications in different modalities, but that was the first one, was the Institute of Integrated Nutrition, which is kind of a common one for coaches to do, and I'm sure you know. And I helped, I was so inspired to start supporting other women because I saw how massive this change was in myself. I wanted to support other women in that same thing. And I knew that it would be, I was already teaching yoga. So I had that sort of thread of wellness in my life, but I really wanted to amplify that and have a more diverse toolbox in supporting women. And now I support women building the future, leading the change in the world. They tend to be founders in femtech, health tech, ed tech, and beyond. So that's a little bit about my story. And I can give you more of the Altavita story, which is more of a love story between myself in Mexico, and then also my co-founder, my husband.
Yes, please, please share the love story.
Yeah, so I mean, we met 15 years ago, and it was kind of my eat, pray, love Latin style journey. I was originally his English tutor. I was helping him prepare to speak at conferences in the US. He's a vascular and general surgeon, and yeah, so I mean, over the past 15 years, we were based in this part of Mexico that we're going to be hosting these retreats, and we've built up a lot of the infrastructure, but also just we're so passionate about that part of the world, and the we've seen time and time again when friends of family have visited us over the last decade in particular, just how transformational it has been, just even spending a week with us, in terms of oftentimes it was to come have some sort of health issue resolved while they were visiting. And yeah, just the magic that the area has to offer. There's, everything from sort of like extreme adventure tourism to spas and, holistic rituals that are part of that area and culture of southern Mexico, and in some cases Mayan.
Beautiful. And you were just talking about you might go zip lining today. So, like, what's available to you right out your front door? I absolutely love that. And I love zip lining. I think it's so much fun.
Yes, it's a blast.
They have something here called uh, treetop trekking. It's an obstacle course in the trees, and in between all the obstacles, then you zip line from like one level to the other. It's super neat and interesting. So I
I love
haven't been out
that.
in the rainforest zip lining, but I have done it locally here, which is super fun. And it's nice to bring that adventure into our life.
Yeah, and I personally believe deeply in the healing power of water too. Like I've had so many epiphanies, if you will, while sitting in front of water or, swimming in a waterfall. Like there's just something really powerful about dipping your toes in different, resources of water of different parts of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually was just talking about that with a client the other day about the magic of water. And we know the Emoto study, right? So water holds energy, holds frequency. They can take like you can speak negatively to water and take a picture of the molecules, and it will be completely different than if you speak positively to it. And so we know water holds so much magic and healing. And for me, one of the key things is I always have to be by a lake, always have to be by water. So I live a kilometer from Lake Simcoe, which is a huge, big,
Mm.
beautiful body of water, which I go in almost year round. I didn't go in February this year, but I go in almost year round, cold or warm.
Wow, good for
Yeah,
you.
thank you. And then we know that we also can access our theta brainwave states. So having a shower, being in water, it's very relaxing. And so it helps us get into that theta brainwave state, which helps us access that unconscious mind. So it's even like external healing properties, but also a lot of internal healing properties. And that's where those aha and magic ideas can come to us because we can access that higher self and get into a present state. So I agree. There's so much magic about water.
Yeah, and I love that you bring up that example. I often suggest that to clients to really create in your shower space like a micro Zen zone because it's
Mm,
something like these things that you have to do every day or get to do every day. This is like the shift in mindset and intentionality when you're doing something that's it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but if you're making it this intentional experience of like, all right, what am I washing off me today? Or, what sort of energy am I drawing from this water? It's just a few seconds and it's just a mental shift, but it can be very powerful over time versus like, stressed out, shampooing, like thinking about the 15 things you're going to do after showering. Like they're very different energies.
absolutely. And so I studied at the modern mystery schools for a bit, and they teach ritual showers was one of the practices. And so you would wash 3 times, pick something you're releasing, and you would
Mm.
wash 3 times and visualize and feel it releasing down into the drain. And then you would call in what you desire and let that flow through you through the water. And they say doorways are magical and you shift states when you walk through doorways. So then when you step out of the shower, it's really calling forth that
Mm.
new intention and that new desire. So I used to do that regularly, not as much anymore, but definitely will take that on for tomorrow then.
I like that frame. Thank you.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, definitely taking a tangent, super cool. And the universe always gives you signs and synchronicities. So, for an example, multiple conversations about the magic of water this week. So I'll make sure I go for a swim this weekend. I love
It's
when just
telling you to go for a dip for sure.
literally, it's like you didn't listen. You still haven't gone to the lake yet this week. So we'll make sure I'm taking care of my nephew tomorrow. So we have a plan to go for a little swim.
Nice.
Amazing. Okay, so let's dive into your tips. We're going to talk about your 4 key pillars: strategic nutrition, stress management, movement for momentum, which I love, optimized sleep, and strategic rest. So, kick us off. Tell us about strategic nutrition.
Yeah, so these are really 4 pillars that I focus on. And I mean, it's a massive one, but basically it's being, again, to this word, intentional and intuitive and dialing up the quality of what you're consuming on all levels. But let's drill it down to food here. And I think one thing that's really helped my clients is to understand that you're aiming for weekly goals. Don't stress yourself about trying to have daily goals. I think it gets really complicated when it's such a massive category in terms of hitting all your nutrition goals. And superfoods, spices, just eating more plants, fresh, cooked, all the ways that you like to consume them. And really understanding our biorhythms and our cycles as women is so important. But just to give you like a tiny snippet with superfoods, of course, there's more powders or things that I love to incorporate into smoothie bowls, and I'm happy to share a recipe book for that. But the there's superfoods that we all know and love that you could just incorporate into your, again, like try and hit them on a weekly, whether that's different kinds of berries, which are, right now in season, really take advantage of things that are in season. Eating more nuts and seeds, which I think is kind of a thing that we can just forget about. And like
Yeah.
I recommend that clients have, like a little pantry type setting where maybe it's behind a cupboard, but ideally if it's out and you visually kind of run into it every day, it's a way to cue and remember, to sprinkle some hemp seeds on or add some sesame seeds, stir in some chia seeds into your lemonade. Like they're just tiny things you can do. And again, trying to hit them over a week instead of like every day I have to have these 10 things. Well, that's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I
And
get
do you want me to go on? I mean, I can that's one of the things I'm most passionate about is nutrition, but
Yeah, and I just thought I'd share some of the like little things that I do. So a trace mineral supplement, making sure that I use trace minerals. And I know that's something a lot of people don't know about or don't use. And again, it's not an everyday, but I do my best, especially after hot yoga. Chlorophyll, just helping regularly cleansing. Again, not every day unless I'm doing an intentional cleanse. But today I felt called to it. Maybe it's because I knew we were coming to talk about it. So having some chlorophyll. Um, Simple things like the moringa powder too, like adding that into the smoothies. Just those little simple and easy pumpkin seeds, right? They're anti-parasitic. So many things and so much magic in nature. And so there's the saying, instead of living to eat. Instead of eating to live, yeah, so instead of living to eat, like just eating for fun, you want to eat to live. So that's strategic nutrition, and thinking about what is that food that we're using to fuel our body instead of just eating, right? Like
yeah, and I mean,
actually intentionally.
yeah, I think you could think it's good to think about it as fuel. I mean, it's also the building blocks of your not only your well-being, but literally your physical structure. And so I also, and it's also medicine, right? So this is the holistic piece where if you're being intentional about like other superfood powders that I have on hand all the time is acai, matcha. Again, spices are superfoods in themselves. Like you
I
can
love it.
cinnamon and everything, and you're
Me
really
too.
upping your ante in terms of immunity and circulation
In the
boosting.
coffee every day.
Yeah, preaching to the choir. And yeah, ground flaxseed is another one. And I love the spirulinas, especially if you have
Yeah.
kids, because they're such a strong, you can have blue and or a green, and they're such strong colors that they make foods fun colors for kids. You can have
Yeah,
your
you
blue
could change it
lemonade or
every
your
day.
green lemonade. And I think it's just wise to have them incorporate again with weekly goals. Like you want to try and hit 40 different plants a week. And
Love that.
we kind of can get into these ruts of eating like the same 10 vegetables all the time because that's kind of what's in front of us or whatever at the market. But the way to build in more plants is again being intentional about nuts and seeds and these superfood powders and spices. Those are all plants as well.
Yeah, like turmeric in your eggs. Oh, spices are one of my favorite things because they're so amazing. And then live herbs. So we're growing parsley and basil right now. That's the two herbs that made it. Yeah. And then you can just made it. It's so great. I added into my guacamole. You can put it in your salads. There's so much magic in growing your own herbs and having your own herb garden and being able to access that right outside your door as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a huge fan of smoothie and smoothie bowls. I think it's a great way to get, 15 plants into a glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't necessarily even like parsley, but if you put, a couple sprigs of parsley, it's gonna have a little bit of, you can also put basil and, there's ways to incorporate them. And another great thing with fresh herbs is just chopping them up and incorporating them in the overall salad. So it's not necessarily like a feature thing, but you just get a taste of it, a little, different flavor dynamic in your lettuce mix.
Yeah, and that's why I always love to add them. And I truly believe apple cider vinegar and parsley is one of the reasons my grandmother is 93. And her husband had lived to 92 as well. And she's super healthy too. And parsley is one of the most alkalining foods that we can eat. And that's one of the things with all the processed food makes us acidic. And that's where the inflammation and cancer and things set in. So something so simple, guys, like eat more parsley. With little things like
Yeah,
that.
parsley is great. And it's natural breath freshener. You can just chew on it instead of gum. Way better for you. But I think like one thing that's central to my philosophy is there's no one size fits all. So,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of clients over the years that apple cider vinegar is not great for everybody. And it really depends where you are in your system. So it's important to get some like proper gut health testing and all these things that we do at the beginning of working together so that you really understand what your personal baseline is, and we make decisions from there. Sometimes it's a great tool if you are not alkaline at all to sort of rebuild balance, but it can be problematic. I take it with here and there, and I kind of figured out when my body needs it, but I don't function well if I take it all the time. And there's lots of things like that. And when we're talking about supplements or sort of wellness trends, it's really overwhelming, I think, when women in particular, we love to be, hitting all our goals, type A, we want to be doing everything we can. You can't do it all. It's really understanding like what are the key pieces, whether it's supplements or foods or strategies that you shouldn't be focusing on now and not try and do it all and like remove the guilt and the stress of, oh, I'm not hitting all these other wellness trend goals.
Yeah, yeah. And I know people are doing the shots of apple cider vinegar. This was just part of a salad dressing and the
Yeah,
super healthy salad. And that's
I
also
want that recipe.
it's actually really good. So it's pepper, salt, a little bit of water, a little bit of olive oil, honey, and
Nice.
apple cider vinegar. And then so that's the dressing. And I add cayenne as well. And so that's
Nice.
delicious. And then he would chop tomatoes and cabbage and shred carrots and lettuce and then let it soak in it. Oh, and parsley,
Mm,
of course.
yeah.
And let it soak in it. And then yeah, that was his famous salad to make for all our meals. And it's my favorite. So I continue it on, but I do it with cucumbers and tomatoes.
Smells
Hmm.
smells delicious.
It's
Sounds delicious.
yeah, it is. It is. It is. Okay, so let's dive into the next one. Stress management, which is one of the key things a lot of people need support on, and they're not even aware that their nervous system is on the fritz.
Yeah, well, I think one key starting point is to understand why I say stress management instead of like eliminating stress is to shift your mindset around stress. We actually need stress. Stress is what creates growth, whether we're talking about the stress of using your muscles in the gym or we're talking about trying to learn something. Like you need to go stretch out of your limits a little bit and create, micro moments where you're in that fight or flight and really like trying to figure out and find the solution. And also you need to have an intentional strategy about getting into rest and digest. So that's like the central nervous system regulation. You want to be shifting out of high cortisol every single day, and you need one practice or ritual, if you prefer that terminology. It sounds more enticing. Great. How are you turning off or powering down every day? And ideally, you want to build them micro bits into your day. So we're going to talk about this in a minute, but movement is a great way to build this into your day in itself. But I really believe in the power of some sort of mindful practice. And, I think meditation is amazing. I've been doing it for years, but it's not necessarily for everybody. Although I do think like with guided meditations these days, the menu items are, there's millions. You could probably find something that resonates, but a breath work is another one that's more accessible to some people. It's more, it feels like an action that you're doing, and in order to do it properly you aren't able to be all in your head. You're just focusing on building awareness and understanding how your body's working at that moment in time, so that practice in itself is really really healing. And then the breath work has multiple layers of how it's really supporting you with your health and longevity over time. Your lung capacity is one of the most important markers of your lifespan, and most people don't really think of their lungs as this. Well, it's more your diaphragm that's the muscle, but you can increase your lung capacity being intentional with breath work. And I think it's this great practice. But then anything from, I talk about awe hunting, just find your thing in nature that you're obsessed to look for on a day to day, whether that's like the rainbow in the bubble or I love looking for rainbows all over wherever I am, like in the reflections. And or butterflies, maybe that might resonate with you more. What do you feel like a connection? Maybe you're a person that looks up at the stars or checks in with the moon to see where it is. Those kind of things are just micro moments that really help you feel grounded and take you out of your head and your busy to-do list mentality, and just help you drop in. And it really only takes 90 seconds to reset your nervous system, to just, so whether that's breath work or just taking a break, a moment, and
Yeah.
allowing yourself to tap into something in nature, I think they're all really powerful ways to be intentional about stress management.
Yeah, and like you said, it only takes 90 seconds. So it might look like just taking your shoes off and grounding in the grass for a couple minutes in between your Zoom calls all day, because that's what I
I
do.
love stretching my feet in sand or grass.
Yeah, I actually have a grounding mat under my desk as well. And I still go outside and put my feet in the bare feet in the grass regularly throughout the day. And those are my mini micro breaks. And then I am a moon watcher. I do like to go out and see the moon and the stars every night.
I'm more of the sunset. I'm always looking for like what color the clouds in the morning. I love it because I'm a 5 a.m. girl, but yeah, I do love the moon. And I find, I don't know about you, but the a full moon will wake me in the middle of the night, and then I get to see it. Like, all right, that's why I'm awake. It's full moon.
Oh, I know it's one of my, and we have one coming up actually, right? I forget.
Hmm.
Yes, yeah. And it's, do you follow astrology? Like, do you know what that one is?
I do, but I can't tell you what that next given moon is. I usually tap into it like when it's
When
happening.
the
It's like,
energy's here.
yeah.
Yeah, love it. Well, I know that I've seen a lot of posts about it, so I know some good energies coming in that way. So yeah, guys, stress management is first just giving yourself tools and resources and options so that you have something to choose that will remove the resistance to help you follow through on those little things to help you reduce that stress and cortisol in your body, because it really does impact our behavior. We become reactionary instead of responding. It impacts our ability for our prefrontal cortex for us to make decisions and think independently and follow through or even initiate tasks. And so that that 90 seconds periodically throughout the day. And I think you might have just shifted so much for people where they thought, well, I have to sit and do breath work for 20 minutes. 90-second breaks periodically throughout the day. And you just gave so many different examples of how we can do that. So I absolutely love that. So no excuses. Put self first so you can pour from an over cup that's a cup that's overflowing. So I love that, reducing this stress and having that stress management. So now tell us about movement for momentum.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is a mindset, and it really taps into what we were just talking about in terms of I like to help founders really think, and they do this in the corporate space too, like how high performance athletes operate. They intentionally have an entire day off a week.
Mm.
They, whether that's a day off mentally from stressing about your performance or where you are in your goal situation, and just thinking about your craft, and also the physical time off, the actual rest. So this mentality is uh, okay. So movement for momentum to me is really understanding that we're animals. We're actually designed to be on the move all the time, not to be seated at a desk. So whether this looks like, maybe every day that you need to respond to emails, you can roll out a mat and do it seated and cross-legged or with your legs wide, just sitting in a little yoga pose type thing, or just move to a different chair or flip your chair around. Like just being slightly more activated and sitting in different positions is kind of like level one. Level two is, okay, where on my calendar can I take a meeting on a walk? Is there somewhere or something I can do today that gives me a little bit further, like A to B, and I'm not going to go in my car, I'm just going to walk. I think that's a really great one. And another is I'm a personal fan of like dance breaks.
Yeah,
I think they're
yeah.
so energizing, and even if you're just like slightly dancing in your chair, okay, again, that's level one. You're getting like another level of energy and frequency going in the body. But just, take a dance break, and when you're needing to get up to go to grab a coffee, put on your favorite song, and I guarantee it just like lifts your mood, it lifts your energy, it helps with focus and creativity when you're about to sit down. So the movement for momentum piece is just rethinking kind of away from this obligatory exercise word that we're also familiar with. Like there's definitely a place, and it's really important that you're getting some of that as well. But how can you build just a little bit more movement into your day to day? Another great example for, if I have to unload the dishwasher, okay, well, I'm going to intentionally squat and engage my core and look at it as an opportunity to get a little strengthening into my day, opposed to this, oh, I have to unload the dishwasher or load or whatever. Same thing with, you have to, any sort of cleaning, the folding the laundry, like there's just ways to do it that you're being a little bit more active and intentional, and thinking about your posture while you're doing it. And it becomes this opportunity. Standing in line is another great one. I just did that all yesterday and the day before at airports. Being intentional about how the energy you're sending into your feet, and standing on all four corners of each foot, a slight bend in the knee, or maybe you're just doing like little heel raises, as I was on the airplane the other day. Just tiny little bits instead of being a bump on a log, as my mom would say.
Yeah, instead of just being a meat sack, like just hanging, right? We could actually create and hold that structure and hold our body up and activate it. We call it anatomical posture, right? Like knees open over the third toe. You can lift your toes up, activate your arches, hold your P, right? Activate the core, squeeze the glutes, shoulders back and down, palms forward. And then this is the big one, right? The chin back, the head and ears over the shoulders, because everyone's on their phone these days. And the posture of the youth. I love you guys. Got to look up the posture of the youth that I see, right? So I love that, bringing in that, I call it mindful movement, but bringing in that movement for momentum. When you look at the blue zones in the world, one of the key areas where people live over 100, the number one thing is movement. So they don't have cars. It's in Greece, it's a village. When they have their own plants. Two, they have a community dance party every weekend with their homemade like moonshine wine. But they all walk from everything. It's all walking trails. They don't drive there. And that's something we kind of forgot, right? We could walk
Well,
there
even
to
something
get
like gardening and cooking, it's very labor intensive. And if you could do it a little bit more, and you're inviting it as this opportunity to be in your body and move and stand with good posture and like engage your muscles versus just this have to type of energy again.
like
Um,
this.
yeah. And
That's it.
just being more intentional about how your feet feel on the floor. And again, that's a mindful practice in itself. So all of these kind of things like layer into each other. And 2 minutes, this is the other part with the mindset. 2 minutes is better than nothing. I think so often we've been sort of programmed to think about these exercise routines that if you don't get 20 or 30 or whatever your personal amount is, it's like nothing's better than 20 minutes. It's no, 2 minutes is better than nothing. So even just being a little bit more active for a couple minutes a day, because it has this cascade effect as well, right? Because the more that you start doing it, the more like 2 minutes folds into five, and five into 10, and again, it's sprinkled throughout your day instead of having to be in this block of time that maybe you feel like you don't have.
Yeah. And then I was even thinking about it yesterday. I did hot yoga in the morning, and then I had a goal alignment session with a client. So we were together for 4 hours. And before that, we taught our own it collective. So that's 90 minutes, which we do start with a dance party and good music. We have our own playlist with like Hertz music, um, all the good new artists that are making music to Hertz with positive affirmations. Because I'm an NLP coach, so I'm very mindful of what earworms we are listening to and being subconsciously programmed with. But I thought, no, that's why I had said I need to go outside because I had been on the computer for like 8 hours and needed. Now I did take my micro break and put my feet in the grass between. But I thought, even though I had this great workout in the morning, you just sat for 9 hours, minus your one little break that we went outside. So now we're going to go outside. We're going to put our feet in the grass. And it's bug season, so we're going to make sure we burn some stuff to get rid of the bugs. But even if you are doing that, like 90-minute or 60-minute workout, like once a day, it doesn't mean don't move for the rest of the day, right? I really think regardless, those mini micro movements for momentum are essential, like regularly pausing for stretches, like whatever that looks like. I have a yoga mat on the other side of my desk. I have a yoga strap and a resistance band in here. So I can take pause breaks and stretch. And if you can set it up so it's literally right there, then it becomes part of the routine, right? And 30-second stretching, feel like $1,000,000 compared to 8 hours of this on the computer, right?
Yeah, and I think even just being intentional about your posture as you're sitting and changing it up. So especially ladies, like hopefully you're not crossing your legs in the same way all day long. You really want to kind of avoid that in general, but try crossing it the other way. Or I personally cross like more in a yoga pose where it's like my ankle over the knee, or again, flipping around your chair and just inviting different micro movements and postures throughout the day can be, quite transformational, even though it doesn't feel like a whole new thing you need to add to your day.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. Simplicity can help you get results, right? If we are like, I got to go to this 90-minute class and I don't have time, so I do nothing, right? Keep it simple so you can be successful.
Yeah, and I really help clients help build their practices into their life in a way that it feels like wellness is a way of life opposed to this additional thing on their to-do list. And
Mhm.
that's when it becomes completely integrated and sustainable and it doesn't feel, it becomes like brushing your teeth. It doesn't feel like another thing you have to do. It's just a thing you do.
I love that. Doesn't feel like another thing you have to do. It's just a thing you do. And as you said, it's a part of a lifestyle now and not something, a fad or a trend. It becomes, you keep it simple, so it becomes part of that lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that's why like we're talking about so many little micro tips here, right? So it's important that you just pull what resonates with you for you and try that out. It's not try these 50 things that we've just mentioned. It's like pick one or two. It's like, oh, I used to do that, or I try that. And you try that and you get it built in and then you stack them. And in a way that, again, this doesn't feel so overwhelming. I think that's just a big part of any industry these days, the information overwhelm, but particularly the health and wellness that we're all, sort of experts because we've read or heard so many things. But ultimately, it's really what's going to work for you, what moves the needle forward for you, and then releasing that guilt or FOMO, really, that you're not doing it right or you're not doing it all. Like you can't possibly do it all. We are hyper educated on this now. You need to figure out what resonates for you.
Yeah, and really, we're in information overload era, right? There's so much information out there, and that leads to confusion. And so I love how you said,
Paralysis, right? Like so many just people just don't do any of it.
yeah, so keep it simple and pick one thing that resonates with you. And the magic word is just get started, right? Like just get started, pick the one thing, 2 minutes, 90 seconds, whatever that is. And just get started. And then we start to build that self image, that self confidence. It feels better. So we're called to do more and then it grows. So I love that. Absolutely. Just get started. Movement for momentum and releasing that whole idea of just exercise and instead bringing that mindful movement for momentum throughout your day. Amazing. Okay. Now, as one of the key things that you said is something that you changed was optimize sleep and strategic rest. So I love that idea of strategic rest. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so what I'll say on sleep, because it's a whole massive category. But it is the first thing that I work with clients on because I think it is your number one tool. It is really life-changing when you start getting better quality. Time is one thing, but it's really the quality of your sleep. And so if that's not being met, that is the easiest and like really, you know, free thing that you can do. And it's really often about just being more intentional about what you're doing through your day, what you're doing right before bed, even what you're doing in the morning. Like there's different categories that we focus on in optimizing that. But you know, a simple thing that you can start is trying to go to bed around the same time every night. We're creatures of habit and routine, and therefore our systems also like the predictability, as you know, you kind of want to set rise and set fall in with the sun. Although we're not all necessarily 5 a.m. people, but like whatever your natural time, whether that's 7, 8, 9 is, building your day around that to allow yourself to go to bed in time to get some quality sleep and ideally go to bed around the same time. It really helps you get better quality over time. So that's
Yeah,
first category.
I remember watching a podcast, and I think it was back in 2020, and they had noted they had discovered that if you went to bed and woke up at the same time, that routine allowed your body to actually fall asleep quicker, go into the deeper sleep. And so you had a way better quality of sleep and you didn't need as much sleep. And it was the routine, it was the number one thing to help improve sleep and the quality of sleep was go to bed and rise at the same time every day.
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about why adults need bedtime routines. Like, moms we all know like how important the bedtime routine is for our children, but we don't do it for ourselves. And it's just as important to sort of set the tone and respect the hour and like all that. It just really helps. So that's my little tip for sleep. And then strategic rest. It's more again of a mindset piece. So first understanding there's a big difference, or there should be a difference in your mind about what is sleep and what is rest. There are two different things. You want both. You need to be building rest into your schedule. And this goes back to like high performance athletes where, okay, what's your time off in a given day, or what's your entire day off, your business specifically, or if you know, you're training intensely for a physical thing, a race or something like that, you know that there's one day a week. That's when your muscles do the deeper level integration, repair, and growth. And if you're not giving either your body or your mind, your memory, that time to actually do the integrating and growth, you're really just kind of going to get to a point where you're either going to burn out or you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels and you're not getting where you want to go in terms of your goals. And this is what's so hard for people because we live in this, we all are, you know, marinating in this culture of everything like urgency. Everything needs to happen yesterday. And if it didn't happen yesterday, you're failing. It's like, no, actually, there's no emergencies in business. And the people that are doing it slowly and intentionally are getting as far, if not further, than the people that are operating in this like busy mentality of, you know, getting all the tasks done and not necessarily being intentional about the planning, the back you know, in the background type um, work and planning. And so building rest into your business plan and your strategy and you know your annual plan for your business is so important. And I think at least how it works for me is if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen.
Doesn't
Like I have my
exist.
mindset, my meditation twice a day on my calendar. I have, you know, when I'm going to yoga and there needs to be rest. And so you can put in like white blank space, you know, where you're just going to do nothing and be bored. This is the other piece of this is you don't, or, you know, stop curating your rest. So this is what so many women love to do. It's like, oh, it's my hour off. So I'm going to listen to these two podcasts and I'm going to fold the laundry and I'm going to make a snack and I'm going to do like 15 things at the same time that are not work.
But
That's not
not
rest.
rest.
That's not rest. How often I'm telling clients, just go sit and stare at a tree. I dare you. Like, let's see how long you can handle just doing that. It's going to be hard. And this is this dying superpower of being
Mhm.
bored, of doing
Mhm.
nothing, because we're all just so addicted to solving our boredom with our phone
Yeah.
that it's actually quite complicated for most adults and increasingly, you know, and for sure teens to just do nothing. Just
Yeah.
stand in line at the bank. Just people, just watch the people, notice what you notice, look up at the sky. Like these types of slow movement type thinking is really becoming a superpower because so many people can't do it. And that's where creative ideas drop in. That's where, again, the growth and the integration on a deeper level, because your brain gets given a moment to think, connect ideas. It's like, oh yeah, I learned something about that, like in university. Let me see if I can find that professor, but like, don't do it in that minute.
Yeah.
Just let it percolate.
Yeah, and I love that we're learning to practice presence and rest, right? And like you said, just in the bank line, because we're so addicted to productivity. And I still remember, I can't remember what coach it was, but it was like, even if you're standing in the line at the store, like put in your audiobook, like, right? Like we're so addicted to everything has to be like stacked. We have to be doing multiple things at one time. And then it's super important and super intentional to have that time of unscheduled time. So I do my best to have an hour of unscheduled time a day. And then I go in the flow. If I want to sit and listen to my coach and sit out and stare at the trees or make notes, I can. Or if I just want to sit and stare at the trees, I can. Or if I wanted to call a friend, I can. And I do a self care Saturday and a no schedule Sunday. And the magic of the no schedule allows us to be out of time. And for all my high performing busy entrepreneurs out there, we're locked to our clock. Where's our next thing we need to be at? What's the next thing we have to do? When does it need to be done by? Especially if kids, right? Like it all has to happen in this little window while they're at school, or perhaps you're homeschooling them as well. And it's important for us to begin to have time where we can be out of time, and that's where your $1 million idea comes in. Like you said, that's where the integration happens. Um, this is where you can just be a human being instead of a human doing, right?
Yeah. And like you said, like I think out of time, it just must mean like offline, not on your phone. Like you know what time it is if you have your phone with you. Like let's
Yes.
face it.
Yeah.
And there's just so much, especially as a mother, just to be kind of able to go with the flow and not feel this conflicting hierarchy of things that you should be doing on a Sunday. It's like, no, we're just gonna go with the flow. We're just gonna be. It's, ideally get out in nature. Like, I think it's a really, let's face it, it's easier these days if you get yourself in a place where there's not even a signal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And Steve Jobs would go for a walk an hour a day without his phone, right?
Yeah. And this is, so to be clear, like what you're saying, I also think there's a time and a place to like, okay, I'm doing all the driving. I am listening to podcasts. Like I'm not saying like always be in rest mental mode. No. But again, start small. Like if it's actually hard for you to not be on your phone for whatever, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, that's where you start. Just 15 minutes a day. You're going to put it in airplane mode or put it in a drawer, whatever it is, and just try and do nothing.
Try
I
and
dare
do
you.
nothing. I know. It's one of my favorite things to do is nothing. Just sit out and watch the bees and the birds. And it's like, oh, it's beautiful back there. So yeah. And I know for many people that's very hard. And I was doing it yesterday. Then I thought, oh, where is my phone? I left it somewhere. I don't know. That's good. Right. There's so much magic in that strategic rest. So guys, amazing, amazing, amazing tips. Strategic nutrition, stress management, movement for momentum, optimized sleep, and strategic rest. And you have a special gift for them. So tell us about these amazing 222 journal prompts to inspire growth and mindset and wellness journey.
Yeah, it's just this mega list and it's categorized. And I think it, again, try not to do it all at once. Like you're just gonna dial in, oh, I'm gonna open a journal. You pick a prompt, maybe two in a given session, and it's helping you find clarity on how you're feeling about something, the emotions that are, going through your system. And ultimately, when you feel like you have more self-awareness and clarity, and that builds confidence and makes decision making so much easier. Right now, decision making can feel really overwhelming if you don't feel dialed in to, what are your actual deepest desires, goals, and how are you feeling about the current situation, and then really building a strategy around how you want to feel and getting into the juiciness of how it's going to feel when you get to this goal, and that's your bridge to get you there. And I think journaling is just one of the most powerful ways to do that. It's one of my passions, journaling. And I think, well, not I think, I know it's much more powerful if you're doing it pen to paper. Like
Yes.
taking some notes in your phone is great, but ultimately for the sort of long form journaling, it's dialing into both sides of your brain. So it's like the more take action and the planning, but also the creativity and it just solidifies it more in your system and your mind when you're putting it on paper. If you really want to put it in a digital form after, great. But I personally have, I don't even know how many journals at this point. You don't even necessarily need to go back to it. It's just, it's the practice is getting your feelings, thoughts, desires, goals on paper. And then that kind of just it's plants a seed. It's something you get to marinate in, and it evolves from there. You
I
that
love it.
the trusting the process comes in.
Yeah, amazing. We love to journal through our Quantum Leap Blueprint. That's what we use, and it's where we journal our ideas, our goals. It's this amazing workbook, and then the number one thing is to enter the spirit of it. So it's one thing to write it, and it's another thing to feel it. So I love how you said there's the bridge there, right? Where we're journaling it, but then also feeling and entering that spirit or the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the spirit of the goal achieved. So just a reminder that there's the physical and the metaphysical, right? So where our mechanical body is writing it, then how are we embodying what we're also journaling? So just taking that on when you go to complete those incredible journal prompts and have fun with it, because you never know what magical ideas might come your way. I
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so last but not least, you've got a great book recommendation for us. So tell us.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm a huge book fan, but I'm gonna recommend my own book, which I published at the beginning of this year. It's called Marinating in Chaos: Live Intuitively and Make Bold, Authentic Decisions. All things that I'm really passionate about. At 30, I set out on my own twisted eat, pray, love journey, Latin style, where I ended up living as an expat in Mexico for 15 years. And this book is part memoir, part roadmap for women who are serious about getting healthy for good, not just for a season. And it's for
Mhm.
women who are tired of feeling tired and deep down know that there is an inner fire just waiting to be lit. It takes you on a comical, vulnerable, and relatable journey from party girl looking to escape negative narratives on replay to empowered wellness leader looking to change how women everywhere view themselves. The book is for all women who quite simply are ready to have something more.
I love it. So if you feel you're ready to have something more, you want to check that out. Megan, where can they buy this? Is it from your website, Amazon?
Yeah, you can find it if you want a hard copy. Amazon is your only option. You just can look Megan Swan, search Megan Swan, it'll come up. But you can find it Barnes and Noble, digitally all over, available on Kindle, all the things. And yeah, it's still on my to-do list to record the audio version at some point, but
I can't
for now,
wait to
those are
hear
the
that for
options.
you. Yeah, congratulations, huge success. It is really overcoming ourselves to create a book to serve others. And now the legacy is here. It's here forever. So congrats on that. I love it. Congratulations. And thank you so much for being on the show today. Was there anything else you wanted to leave our audience with?
Well, I mean, I just always want to inspire women to take better care of themselves because, like, whatever is going on in your life, if you're feeling a lack of motivation, a lack of confidence, you're doubting something, it might seem intuitive, but going back and starting to take better care of yourself is really the seed of all change. And you can just pull a given thread that you feel you want to start with. So whether that's eating better, great. Whether that's moving your body more, great. Whether that's getting better sleep, great. Like all those things are going to be the seed of change so that you feel more confident, more sustainable energy, and the clarity and the mentality to really make those bold moves.
I love it. So get out there, own your health and wellness, make those bold moves, and make sure you check out Megan Swan Wellness. Grab that book, grab those journal prompts. And again, just thank you for your energy and your wisdom today. Such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks, Heather.
You're welcome. And remember, everyone, stay happy, healthy, wealthy, expect magic and miracles, and what is the best that can happen. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.